Very few number of Filipinos had to fight like a bunch of Chinese soldiers. Ang Pilipinas ang unang bansa sa there are comfort women in the Philippines too. Hey guys, Jessica here. Today is June 6th, which is the Yongsan or Memorial Day of Korea. So to commemorate that day, me and Sylvia came to the 전쟁 기념관 here in Yongsan. The reason why I'm here is to show you guys like a brief history or a tour of this museum or exhibit. As one of the most important or major events in Korea was the Korean War, and during that Korean War there's so many soldiers who sacrificed themselves to fight for the country, and among them there were UN soldiers, and a part of them was Filipino soldiers. So we also wanted to check out that portion in this museum to share with you guys, so let's go ahead. So this is the entrance to the museum. So it's very spacious. So you can find like all the information on the Korean history in this museum, specifically about the Korean War. In Korean history, as you guys might know, we were colonized by Japan. Japan is the only country that has colonized us. That's why that 35 years in the Korean history, many people pick that as the most traumatic moment, because that was the only time the whole flow of our history and culture ceased. And then right after we earned independence from Japan, through the sacrifice of all the other heroes, the Korean War happened. That is also the time when the UN troop of soldiers were also dispatched to Korea to help the Korean War. For South Korea specifically, there were like a list of countries, and among them was the Filipinos. That's why there's a really famous battle of Yultong, where like very few number of Filipinos had to fight like a bunch of Chinese soldiers. 저기 필리핀 국기 있다. So I think this is the UN. It extends all the 여기.
Whoa.
May they forever be remembered. Long live the Filipino soldier. Mabuhay, mabuhay. Ang Pilipinas ang unang bansa sa because the Filipinos were one of the very first soldiers.
Yeah.
Who were dispatched. So I know this part of history because I already made a video on it, more specifically where I went to the Philippine War Memorial site in Yongsan. I'm thankful that the Korean government is being grateful and expressing their thanks to everyone who shed blood for our country. 여기 나오네. 율동. 진짜 이런 전쟁에 대해 볼 때 항상 생각하는 거는 진짜 우리가 저때 태어났으면 어땠을까?
맞아.
지금은 상상도 내가 거기 딴 나라 나 이름 알지도 못하는 나라에 불려가지고 난 더운 나라 국가인데 갑자기 추운데 가가지고 다른 사람들 위해 막 희생하고 이게 진짜 This is the Memorial Hall. So here you can see the overall history on how the Korean War happened. It began not so long after the Pearl Harbor. 1953, the truce began until now. Yeah, so Korea is actually still on truce formally, right? The overall, the military force were highly behind. These are the murals of the people, refugees.
서울이 불과 몇십 년 전만 해도 이랬다는 거. 한강의 기적이라는 말이 있듯이
한강의 기적?
그런 말이 있는데 한국이 너무 빨리 발전하고 그렇게 빠르게 전쟁 국가에서 3대 국으로 발전할 수 있었던 기적을 말하는 거예요.
So if you think about it, this whole Korean War is not so far away. Like our grandparents?
Yeah, grandparents' generation, yeah. Because my grandma, my mom's side grandma, her younger brother passed away from the war. Seriously, yeah.
Also, I can notice that my grandma uses a lot of Japanese words.
Oh, same. Same.
My grandma is just so close to me,
Right.
but then I can feel how different her time and my time was.
Right.
And also my grandfather is a war orphan. That's why I think we really think of like history education very, very importantly because it's very not far from us.
True.
Even if we did not experience it, we kind of get constantly reminded of the pain and the suffering and then the sacrifice. For the Filipinos, I also have a few friends of mine in the Philippines whose like mom passed away during the Japanese occupation era in the Philippines. There are comfort women in the Philippines too.
Like it's really interesting. Like Moy, Jessica, me, like always like hanging out in Han River. Like everything looks peaceful, but behind that peace, there were so many things we went through.
Right. MacArthur 알지? For some people, he's a hero. For some people, no.
Yeah.
For Koreans, how?
For Koreans, he's a hero.
For many Filipinos, he's also perceived as a hero, but
But it's controversial.
it's controversial.
For those who know history, like so much in detail.
Deeply?
Yeah.
He's not a hero.
Yeah.
Yeah, 맞아. But there's always the common hero though in every country. Like he is for sure a hero. Like for the Philippines, Jose Rizal, he was actually during the Spanish colonization era. Well, he was from a very well-educated family, so he knew how to speak in Spanish, and he
원패수에 있다는 분.
yeah. And then he wrote a book. He wrote like this book called 널리 미탕해래. Don't Touch Me Not.
꽃 이름 같다.
It's a novel. 꽃 이름이야.
그치?
I read it. 무조건 읽어야 돼, 필리핀에서. He wrote several books. 널리 미탕해래 and also El Filibusterismo. 이것도 다른 책인데. It's all about, it shows like the role of Spanish people in the Philippines. Each character really represents something. Like the chief, like the hardworking one. 그래서 진짜 amazing book.
Wow.
Even if you don't know the Philippine history, 그거는 진짜 amazing book. Because you're learning Tagalog now. Maybe you should read the...
It's in Tagalog entirely?
원래 원본 Spanish, but then it was translated to Tagalog. But there's also an English one. But then there is simplified Tagalog book of that.
Version.
But I read it in English. So in our generation, you know, we're very, very lucky because like we were born in the era where Korea is
Highly developed.
and getting the global interest.
Yes.
Like
yes.
Korea boom.
Yeah.
So for my dad, actually, this is very, very, very shocking.
Yeah.
Because until when he was my age, nobody knew Korea. 아쉬운 점은 근데 because of how fast Korea like developed and how big the interest towards Korea is from other countries, sometimes like that
People forget about it.
Yeah, people forget about, or people are not so interested in the history aspect.
Yeah. That's really true.
It's more like what is on the surface, which is like the K-pop drama, which is still good because the reason why K-pop was a success, the reason why Korean drama is a success is because of this whole Korean history.
And the boom, yeah.
You know, I believe like those K-pop artists and those K-media that everyone sees, it's kind of like a microcosm of the whole Korean history. Like it really shows the whole Korean personality. That's why if you want to know deeper, you know, the macro of that, it's the Korean history. And then everything will resonate with you even more.
Yeah.
I really recommend you guys to come here. Yeah. Because it's 너무 잘 해놨어. So like a family just passed by us. The parents were telling the kids, see, maybe in this video you can see our grandpa. That's how like I think our generation is taught like that.
Yeah. We're educated so like it's relatable.
Yeah.
Like we can feel it.
Alright guys, so that was the end of our tour. And also this coming June 12th, it's the Philippine Independence Day.
Wow. So it's like a really good coincidence.
That's another day to commemorate.
I hope you guys really had some lesson from what we are saying, what we are watching, and what we just looked around.
Yeah. Let's always be thankful for what we've got today, and let's always appreciate the sacrifice of our elder countrymen. And I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys in the next video.
Bye.